Hey, what's going on, guys? Double 18 Seth Shadow here. We're on Black Friday weekend over in the US, so that's a time of lots of price drops among so many retailers going about. And of course, there have been a few deals coming about when it comes to Shadowverse Evolve singles, though I wouldn't say too many big ones. Let's go ahead and just see where some cards have been moving today. We're going to start with the Evo version of from set 1, which this card has been up and down a lot for its utility to be able to banish stuff from the EX area. And it's mostly just been on a downtrend for this month, ultimately staying around the $3 and $250 mark for most of its sales. And right now the market price is sitting around $3.39 and has 26 listings available. The regular version is cheap, of course, but again, it's a gold, so the Evo is the one that you really look for value, but given that it's just not moving too much, I'd say it's just going to stay relatively stable the whole time. Just a note, if you're looking for blank tokens that come out of the 4th starter deck for Dragoncraft, because this is the only starter deck with dragons as the only token, and every single deck gives you 8 tokens. So because Bushiroad and Cygames did not have a second token to give you in this deck, they just gave you a blank token, which most players just draw their own tokens, their own custom tokens. Well, just so you know, there's only one listing on TCG Player for this at $5. Of course, nobody has bought these at that price point. They've all been bought at $1 at best, and back when this thing was first put on, it was sold in droves at about $1 and still only sells at about $1. So don't pick these up for $5. I don't think it's worth. They're just blanks and just a means to be able to draw out your own items. Soul Dealer has been staying relatively stagnant in price and more so just a little up. Right now, base pricing is closer to $15 as compared to when I did my analysis when the market price was. Well, the market price is still around that price point of $13.32, but it sells more so for $14, so just a little higher than that. In any case, I imagine that this should stay relatively the same going into Uma Musume, as it's still an option to play for Aggro Abyss, which can still be quite a contender. Something that is going slightly up is Chellia Tia, though, where the base price is now $7 for this card, and it's also down to 9 listings. And this is just the base legendary. It has been selling for above $5 to $7, and a bit more consistently than most other cards. So right now we take a look at prices. There are only 2 listings that sit around $7, and then it becomes $8 plus if you want to pick it up. So probably a good idea to keep this one in mind. If you do need to pick it up, it is moving up there, and it's still a good combo card to use going forward. And being legendary, yeah, if you need this, it's probably a good idea to just pick it up just in case it really starts to shoot up there. Maid Leader is overall down in price. I remember when I was doing my analysis of this, these were in the dollar range, and now market prices on these are far lower than they were before with a lot of listings. The base silver is now 75 cents, and the evolved version is 25 cents base with a market price closer to 50 cents. If you want the premium versions, the base one is over $5, closer to $5.50, and the evolved version is over $2.50 if you want to pick that one up. Both of which, though, are below their current market prices, so the overall card is starting to sink. Something else that's also sinking is Heavenly Aegis's base form, where I do say that it's sinking, but not too heavily. Still, base pricing being at $10 now is below the market price of $12.34 at this point, so it's easier to pick up Aegis right now than before. More listings are available for $10. Then after that, you'll get back into the $13 range. So if you do want to pick these up, well, TCG Players still has their, well, by the time I'm even posting this, that sale should be over and they'll be moving into Cyber Monday, which is going to be less of a benefit overall. Rose Queen, particularly the ultimate rare. This has been slowly just making its way downward as the card continues to phase itself out. We're now looking at $50 for this card, which is still pretty good for its value, but most listings are still at $55 to $60, with only 2 listings being at the $50 mark right now. So ultimately, I could still see this to continue to go down as time passes, and when we get to February with set 3, I feel like Rose Queen just gets phased out almost completely regardless, so by that time, it should be even further down. Merlin Super Legendary. This one's market price is $56, but we can see that a lot of listings have been selling for under $50. And there are a number of listings at or below $50 right now, while we continue to move up after that beyond 55 again. But in terms of listings that have been selling, because this has not sold, well, at the end of October was the last time that this thing sold for over 60, and after that, during November, it only sold during the Black Friday sales at below $50 for every single copy on the market. So the market price has been taking a dip. Ultimately, yeah, I would imagine that, I don't know. Merlin is one of those cards that should continue to see use over time, but we'll just have to see where it goes. I still imagine it will stay as a more expensive super legendary, but it is on a downtrend. Dragonsong Flute is on an uptrend though, where we have 12 listings on the base legendary, and they're $12 to start off with, which is above the market price. And the last time I covered the super legendary, it was at $30-ish. Now it's $40 base with only 2 listings available. We take a look at sells. $40. I mean, it's sporadic, I'll give it that, and there are only 2 copies left on the market, but $40 a piece, not during the Black Friday weekend, it's been over the course of November. There haven't been too many of these on the market to sell, so that also contributes to just how few sells that there were of this card. Then, to wrap up today, is the Showdown promo of Leonidas, which is still not selling. $32 is the base price, and the only sells that we've had so far are still the ones that I covered before, with $25 being the max. And to be fair, I can understand why sellers don't want to really cut their price on this one. It is a Showdown promo, and the winner's promo, so to see it just not sell at this price point, it definitely feels kind of disappointing when you have this as a prize and then you want to get a decent value for it, but it just can't even sell at a decent value. So it's understandable that sellers have not tried to decrease the price much further, but we'll just have to see what happens when Uma Musume comes out. Sword is still likely to be a decent contender when it comes to the Uma Musume format, but at $32, if it's still not selling, it's really just a holdout attrition as to whether or not the sellers are willing to get rid of these any lower. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys later.